2 days ago, I made a video on how to make a mask, and I started getting requests from people asking me to make another video on how you can make your mask without having a sewing machine. So therefore, I put this video together. Watch it. With or without a sewing machine, you can make your own mask at home, making use of the basic materials you can find in your house. This is all the materials I need. First, I have an elastic band here. Actually, an elastic band is optional. If you don't want to use an elastic, if you don't have an elastic band at the moment, you can use a rope. You can just make use of a rope. And next, you need your little piece of fabric. I will post a picture for you to know what type of fabric that can be effective. And then you need a pair of scissors, and also you need a thread and a needle. And lastly, you need a disposable mask or an already made mask. This is optional. If you don't have a disposable mask, don't worry at all. So let's get started. Now I have my fabric placed on my table, and then I'm going to fold it in half like this. And then if you have your already made mask or disposable one, grab it, and you're also going to fold it into two. And after folding it, go ahead and open up the pleated part a little bit like this, as much as you want your new mask to be, and then place it on top of the folded fabric. Place it on the fold area like so, and then go ahead and trace it out. So now, if you don't have the disposable mask or a ready-made mask, then you can just draw out this pattern onto your fabric. Okay, it's just like a D shape. So once I'm done tracing, I am going to go ahead and bring out the shape so it can be clearer for you guys to see what I'm doing. So just draw out the shape with your free hand if you don't have the mask. Okay, so you can see the exact shape, and then I'm going to be adding about half of an inch joining allowance. It could be a half of an inch or less, a little bit less is okay. Don't worry, I'm going to be showing you the size of this in case you're sketching it yourself, so you know how big to sketch. All right, so now then go ahead and cut this entire shape out. And after cutting and opening it up, I have this. Then I'm going to grab another piece of fabric. This second fabric is very thick, is tightly woven, which is actually what we need. So I cut out the same shape using that fabric, and I have something that looks like this. And the next thing to do now is to start joining. So in order to join this together, fold it like this, and if you don't have a machine, you will use your hand to stitch it. It's very easy and quick. So thread your needle. I recommend you double your thread just to give it external, just to give it additional strength. So just go ahead and stitch it, just the basic straight stitch method. Go ahead and stitch along that line like so. And if you have your machine, of course, you can put it on your sewing machine and join through the same way. And when you get to the end of the line, make sure you secure it with a knot, and then go ahead and cut off the thread, and I'm going to continue my stitching. As you can see, this is just a basic hand stitch method that almost anyone can do. Anybody can make this mask, and I believe you can get all the materials in your house. You don't have to go to the store. I understand that people can't really go out right now, so that's why I'm making this video. Even in your house, you can do this. So then I'm creating my knot again, and once I was done stitching, I have this, and I'm going to repeat the same thing to the second piece of fabric as well. Fold it into two and go ahead and hand stitch it the same way, or you can use your sewing machine if you have one. And just to show you what the stitches look like, this is what it looks like. And now I am done doing that through this piece, and if I open it up, I have the same thing like the first fabric as well. So now I am going to combine both of them together. So grab your first fabric and place it into the second one so that we can join them together. This mask is going to be a reversible one. You can use it both left and right. So that's why we're using this fabric. So now put them together and go ahead and stitch along this line like I'm showing you. So stitch along like this. I'm just using my biro to draw out the path of my stitch so that by the time I'm hand stitching, I don't, go astray basically. So yeah, just the same way, go ahead and make your regular stitches along that straight line. All right, so once that was done, I have this and I'm going to be bringing it inside out through that opened side. And after bringing it inside out, I have something that looks like this. I also went ahead and gave it a quick ironing because I just, like to see everything come together nicely. So this is what we have at this point. You can see it's looking so clean despite the fact that we are using the freehand to stitch. All right. And for the sake of anyone that may not have the already made or disposable glove to use, I'm going to be showing you the size of this piece. So this curve area is about 6.5 inches, and here is about 4 inches, and here is about 4.5 inches or 4.75 basically. And this part as well is about 3.5. So now if you want to sketch without having the glove to trace with, you know what to do. Okay, so now it's time to attach the elastic band, and I have this elastic band which is 7 inches long. You can use 7.5 if your face is a little bit bigger. So because my elastic band is too wide, I went ahead and sliced it into two so I can have 2 strips, which I actually need 2 strips. Okay, so next thing to do now is to fold in the ends like this. Fold in the seam allowance that you added at that end, and then you are going to be putting in your elastic band. But before I did that, I went ahead and pressed that together with my iron so that it stays in place and easier to work with. Then I will be putting in my elastic band like so. After putting it in, you can use your pin or clip to secure it in place. This is not necessary, it's just to make it easier to work with. And I'm putting in the other side, and I'm also pinning it down. Once that is done, repeat the same process to the second side as well. And then you are going to go ahead and hand stitch as well if you don't have your sewing machine. And I'm making use of the invisible ladder stitch. If you want to know how to do this, I'll post a link to a video tutorial on where I explained how to make the invisible ladder stitch. So go ahead and do that. But if you don't mind, you can use the same regular hand stitching method that we used so far. And once I was done, this is what my mask is looking like. So beautiful. You can use the right side or the wrong side. It's reversible. Everything is nice. And this very thick fabric is actually a kind of fabric that filters really nicely. It can compare even very well with the medical N95 mask. So it's functional and beautiful. And this is just me trying to show you what you can do with your masks. You don't have to be ugly just because of this pandemic situation. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this tutorial. If you've learned something or you just want to support your girl, leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I share a lot of sewing tutorials and DIYs like this. And let's meet again in my next video. Bye bye.